NFP, slightly higher. Yun, etong unemployment rate yung nag-cause ng optimism sa market ata, no? Yan, so good luck sa atin lahat, no? So far, pre-market, I'm around $380 up. Ginagrind natin yan.
Congrats.
Ayun, let's get started, no? So, welcome to the Daily Prep, no? Boss Gerald, Boss Rance, and everyone na makakapanood nito in our YouTube channel. So, kayo yung unang makakita and makakapag interact sa akin on what I am seeing in the market, no? And we can do a discussion as well, no? On our current positions, on our open positions, on my open positions and your open positions. So, didiskartehan natin yan. So, yun naman yung ano natin, no? Objective natin in our daily prep, di ba? That's the objective of our daily prep, which is to look at the markets, even the pre-market session, no? And become prepared, no? To kung ano ba yung dapat nating maging diskarte on our portfolios. So, starting with our daily market summary. So, exit ko lang tong Evernote, Yan. So, our daily market summary. So, nirelease ko sa inyo to kanina. 'Di ba? Mga around 11:30 AM. So, ano siya? Concrete and concise parang commentaries on what happened to the market. So, eto, tignan natin, no? Live on what happened to the market overnight. So, starting with our main indices. So, our SPY. Discuss na rin natin yung pre-market action niya. So, starting with our SPY. Yung SPY natin, printed new all-time highs, no? So, nag-breakout siya dito sa ano natin. Sa recent swing high niya, sa 513 point something. And right now, pre-open, up 0.08%. Around 0.39 points. So, strong momentum, strong follow-through kahit na merong upcoming risk event right now, no? So, may risk event tayo na NFP and unemployment report. So, parang pinaprice in ng market right now yung good news or something, no? Maybe a dovish report on unemployment, pwede ring NFP, which in turn pwedeng mag-react yung Fed and cut rates, no? Earlier than expected. So, yun. So, next is Qs. Key levels pala muna, no? Our SPY. So, ingat lang, no? If our SPY closes below 510 or even kung mas significant na key level itong 504 area, which is this swing low area, no? So, nakabangga din dyan yung 20-day SMA. So, if SPY closes below 508, 504, then, ayun, dapat mag-ingat tayo. Hinaan ko lang tong background music. Medyo tatabunan nata ako. So, yun, that's our SPY. So, same thing with our Qs, strong momentum, although it attempted to break all-time highs yesterday session, but ayun, it failed to do so. Pero so far, good candle close pa din for our Qs. So, tech sector slightly weaker than the SPY, all in all. Pero right now, pre-market down 0.10%, around negative 0.45 points. So, for our Qs, ang kailangan lang natin dyan bantayan is etong level na to. Yung previous resistance area. Eto. So, if our Qs closes below this 440 level, dapat mag-ingat na tayo dahil this is a possible bull trap, no? So actually tinry niya na mag-create or nagtry na siya mag-produce ng bull trap pero nag-recover yung market. Nag-bounce sa MA20 sa 20-day SMA. So that's our Qs. For our IWM, our small caps. So same thing no, for our small caps. It tried to break out dito sa recent swing high niya dito sa 208. But failed to do so. And it looks like parang may rejection candle tayo or some sort on our yesterday's candle, no? So parang graveyard doji, whatever. Pero bottom line, nag-open, nagkaroon ng buyers, end of day, mas malakas yung sellers. And looking at the candle on its own, it closed below the 50% of the candle range. So that's bearish, 'di ba? So simply put, bearish siya yung candle yesterday. Pero ayun nga, since IWM on the big picture, it's on an early stage markup. 'Di ba? It's on an early stage markup phase. So you have this resistance area, nag-try mag-breakout, nag-retest or nag-pullback, nag-create ng higher lows, nag-create ng base, and right now, attempting to break out of this trading range, 'di ba? So once na mag-breakout yan dyan, next key level for IWM is around this area, 'di ba? Sa ano? Sa 220, which is yung point of control nitong next trading range na babanggain niya, no? So madami kang break-even sellers at 220 level for the IWM. So far, lagging sector or lagging index ang small caps natin versus the other three, which is yung SPY, Qs, and MDY. Yan lang naman yung usual na tinitignan natin, 'di ba? SPY for the overall mega caps, large caps, kumbaga parang broader view of the market. The Qs, yung Nasdaq 100, is for the tech-related mega caps and large caps. So market cap weighted siya. And our IWM is small caps, and for our MDY, our mid caps. So sa mga hindi pa nakakapanood ng video na to, nasipa ko yung oil lamp ko pang tanggal lamok. Yun. So MDY also breaking all-time high. So out of the four, siya yung nag-accelerate talaga, no? Siya yung nag-accelerate talaga. So recently nag-breakout sa 540 high, yung high nung 2021 nung September. So this was the previous all-time high level. And right now, strong momentum, 'di ba? Next target for our MDY is at around the 1618 level dito sa 570, 580 area. So paano natin nahanap yung initial target na yun? By using this measured target, by using this trading range, no? So this is your significant accumulation range. Actually, pwede na nga natin gamitin to since you can consider this as your big base, no? Your multi-year base, multi-year accumulation base. So ang main one of the initial targets for the mid caps is around 640. So that's our mid caps. Basically more upside. We're on a young bull market, no? Essentially for our mid caps. So all in all, based on our analysis, kung i-rank natin 'yan, no? Kung i-rank natin yung apat na 'yan, mid caps, SPY, Qs, and IWM. So yun yung natin. Yun yung ranking natin right now. Looking at our BTP Global market dashboard. So same thing, no? Midcaps is leading. Actually, in terms of trend and RS composite scores, Qs yung nagdadala or Qs yung malakas, no? Qs yung malakas right now. Pero in terms of price structures sa trend, no? By looking at the charts, actually mas maganda yung SPY kasi it already printed new highs, new all-time highs. So S&P 500 yung next. Equal weighted Qs, our S&P 500 equal weighted na index, which is RSP, then the Russell Small Caps, IWM, and then Dow Jones. So medyo obsolete na na index na to, so hindi na natin masyadong tinitignan. Ito yung ranking natin based on our global market dashboard, our BTP global market dashboard. So that's our main indices. So moving forward dito sa natin sa segments. So looking at our segments, so leading pa din yung growth names, S&P 500 growth names, large caps, mega caps also leading. Mid cap core also strong this in our segments. Our S&P 500 core is also showing some momentum this week. So all in all, no, kung titignan natin siya, Dito, growth is greater than core names, and then value. So, prioritize growth names versus core names. Growth names muna, and then core names, then value names. So, in terms of, segments in terms of market cap, you should prioritize if you're a momentum trader, yung mga mid-caps. So, mid-caps, large caps, and mega caps. And then, last priority is yung small caps. Pero, since small caps is still building up, is the laggard, if you are a position trader, what you can do is to look for setups in the small cap segment since hindi pa naman siya gumagalaw. 'Di ba? So, that's the main idea. And, yun yung pwede mong gawing diskarte. 'Di ba? This trading session. So, if underexposed ka, since we're on a risk-on mood in the market, what you can do is pwedeng mag-position ka on small caps. So, depende yun sa'yo. Depende yun sa priority place mo in the US market. So, next is the sector highlights or sector spotlights. So, in our sectors, looking at our sectors, this Friday. So today, di ko pala nasabi no in the start of the video. So today is March 8, 2024. So last trading day of the trading week of this 10th week ng 2024. So materials, no, balik tayo dito sa sectors. So materials, yung malakas right now with a weekly change of 2.17%. So right now, siya yung actually nagpapakita ng momentum and nag-improve, no? All in all. So, next is technology. So, yesterday lang nagpakita ng strength itong technology. Pero down ng 0.13% actually. So, next na pwede nating tignan in terms of weekly changes is utilities, 3.03%. So, for this trading week, you have your utilities as your top gainer in your sectors. Diba? Pero in terms of your relative strength and your trend composites, based on our scoring systems, ito dapat yung priority natin in terms of sectors. So if you're a swing trader, momentum trader, you should focus on these sectors, which is materials, tech names, and financials. Even healthcare, pwede rin. So that's it, no, for our spider sectors. So, next is our market groups. So, ayun. Malakas pa din, Semicon, as always. Blockchain, wala namang nagbago. Walang something new in our top 10. Walang natanggal, walang nabago. 'Di ba? If titignan nyo yung past daily prep natin and pre-market prep. So, interesting groups na non-tech or non-semicon related, no? Are Homebuilders, Insurance, and Aerospace and Defense. So actually, in terms of weekly change, ang pinaka nag-accelerate right now or showing some strength or ang main leader natin is Semicon pa din. So nandyan yung Nvidia mo, nandyan yung AMD mo, and others. Di pa rin naglo-load yung ating components. Wait lang i-ano natin. Double check natin. Sa ating source sheet, kailangan natang i-refresh. Wait lang guys. So, hindi niya ma-pull yung top 10 components. So, i-refresh ko lang ulit. Refresh ko. Maybe kailangan i-open lang ulit yung sheet. Yan, anyway, if you're gonna look at your market groups, as always, if you're a momentum trader, swing trader, madami kang mahanap na setups in the Semicon name. Blockchain, medyo mahirap kasing i-trade, honestly, for me, no? For example, Riot, or I mean, Mara, no? For example, Mara. Masyadong volatile siya for me. Masyado siyang volatile. Pwedeng Coinbase, no? Kunyari, Coinbase. More of, kailangan wide stops ka talaga Wide stops. Or pwede rin naman yung mga ganyan na you wait for pause days, you wait for a consolidation, then you drill down to the lower time frame and you look for a good reward risk, no, na entry. So for example, dito sa Coinbase, ito yung ito yung pinaka recent na coil mo Actually, yung po-produce ulit siya ng mini coil at the 1 hour time frame. So this is still tradable, no? Actually, pwedeng buy and breakout ka. Pero depende na yun sa'yo on how you handle that setup, no? So for me, if you're gonna trade blockchain names, pwedeng coin, pwede ring MSTR, pwede ring MSTR. Yung dalawa lang for me, yung pinaka-tradable out of all blockchain-related names. So that's our blockchain. For IPOs, no, for the past 2 weeks, lagi kong sinasabi yung IPO group natin, IPO market group na will show some potential, no. So right now, still sustaining the top 10, in the top 10, itong IPO group natin. So nandyan yung Uber, I think nandyan pa din yung Uber. NXT as well, nandyan. So Uber showing some good consolidation. This is also a tradable setup. So meron din ako niyan. NXT as well, one of the names under the IPO group. So you have this pullback to the 20-day SMA. Actually, nag-break below that. Nag-create ng bear trap. So MA20 spring, na-set up siya actually for me. And right now, breaking above this downtrend line. So meron din ako niyan, NXT. So for Homebuilders, interesting enough yung mga LEN. Actually, LEN is also broke or also printed new all-time high yesterday. So all-time high level na yan. So big picture, LEN is at an all-time high also on an early stage markup phase. May upcoming risk event ka lang this March 13, which is the earnings release of LEN. So that's our Homebuilders. For insurance and casualty, property and casualty, nandyan yung TRV. So isa sa mga pwede mong tignan. So under our stocks in focus natin yan, yung TRV. So pulling back to the 20-day SMA, also at an all-time high status or near all-time high status itong TRV natin. May lamok ata. Nakong kate. Sorry. Yan. So, approaching 1618 target. Itong TRV. So, you have this big base. Na-discuss ko na yan. You're on the verge of papunta ka na dun sa mid-stage markup phase in TRV. Pero so far, no? Great uptrend, strong trend. You have your key MAs na all sloping upward. And, ayun, parang looks like doing an RSI reset, no? And pulling back to the 20-day SMA. Although, no, kung titingnan mo, this is a bearish signal, di ba? You have your higher high, you have your lower high in RSI. So, ano ba yung indication nun? You have an RSI bear div, di ba? You have an RSI bear div. So, that's a leading signal for a reversal or a pullback or a consolidation. Approaching din ng initial target natin, which is yung 1618 level. So, an RSI, bear div, plus a resistance structure, near resistance structure is kind of bearish, no? So, for me, ang pinaka-tradable, ang pinaka-main idea, no, why I'm trading this TRV is this hidden bull div. So, actually, you have your higher low, pero in terms of RSI, you have your lower low. Diba? So that's an RSI bear div or a hidden RSI bull div pala. A hidden RSI bull div. So you have a higher low in price in which you have your RSI doing a lower low. So that's a sign of strength, no, in terms of our hidden bull div. At the same time, all-time high yan eh. All-time high. You're an insurance name. Yields are at high levels, papunta na dun sa peak ng rate hike cycle or nandito na tayo actually sa rate hike cycle. So, most likely they will gain a lot of interest income from those bonds or other money market related na facilities and products. So, yun naman yung main negosyo ng 'di ba? Ng mga insurance companies. So, they get money from people, they collect premiums. Yung perang yun, nilalagay nila sa sa mga money market fund or whatever, sa mga sa mga sa mga treasuries, ganyan. So, ayun, they gain from that, no? Right now, taas ng rates, nasa 4%, 5%. So, malabong hindi sila kikita. Malabong hindi sila kikita from that. So, that's our TRV. So, actually, discuss na rin natin yung yung stocks in focus natin, in which nilagay ko siya dito. Sana ba yun? Yan. So, ito, various stocks on watch. So, TRV nandyan yan. Tama ba? Wala ata. So, TRV is under the pullback na category. So, meron ako niyan. Yun. Anyway, medyo nalayo na naman tayo. Sorry. Na palagi tayo nagja-jump. So, anyway, market groups, you can focus on the top 10 in our BTP Global Market Dashboard. Next, prepping for the for this pre-market session, no? Prepping for the upcoming open, actually, no? So, tignan natin yung mga EOD heat maps natin and other heat maps natin. So, looking at our heat map yesterday, all in all, a sea of green. Halos lahat ng high value traded names ended at a green, with your SMCI 3.12% up up yesterday 3.12%, Avgo 4.22%, Nvidia up 4.47%. AMD sadly 0.36% up lang. So meron tayong yan, wala tayong Nvidia. Anyway, all in all, Tesla, no, good recovery from Tesla yesterday. So kahapon, at the open, medyo mahina yung ginawa ng Tesla. At the open, nag-gap, halos opening lower than the previous market close. So halos 3% down pre-market, then end of day nag-recover siya. So that's the development with Tesla. So overall yesterday is a good market session, no? Kita naman sa main indices natin, in which our SPY printed new highs, your MDY also printed new all-time high levels. So dito naman tayo sa sa afternoon session heat map. So volume times price, value traded, yung laki ng boxes. Our performance is based on the 4-hour recent 4 hours, no, in terms of in percentage yan. And our multiplier, our heat multiplier is at times 1. So that's our afternoon heat map. So looking at the heat map, no, all in all, halos neutral lang yung lumalabas. So SMCI, good afternoon session. Same with Riven. So Riven up 3.63 or 3.73% on the afternoon session. Actually, ano yan, na 14% up yan yesterday. So parang nag-create ng double bottom and then nag-breakout dyan. So good price action with Riven, no? So parang nahanap niya na yung support niya. Nag-create lang siya ng bear trap dito. So actually, looking at the big picture for Riven, no? So one of the recent IPOs din, itong Riven. So pasok sa natin to, pasok sa IPO place natin. Pero nandito ka pa lang sa mid stage or late stage accumulation, itong Riven. So you have this downtrend line, you have this accumulation structure or being established na accumulation structure, then you have this bear trap, diba? You have this bear trap. So ito yung pinaka recent support area mo. Nag-break below that area, then right now recovering above it. So this is a classic bear trap, no, or Wyckoff spring. Although if you feel niya pa yung gap na yan eh. So pwede siyang swing trade, 'di ba? Kung titignan niyo yung schematics natin, we have our bear trap at accumulation structure. So that's a swing play, 'di ba? Essentially a mean reversion play. So pwede mong gawin is to look for a coil dito, and then you trade na tipong sell on dynamic resistance ka lang. So, in terms of reward risk, baka hindi masyadong attractive if i-widen mo yung stop mo. So, what you can do is you drill down on the lower time frame and doon ka maghanap ng better setup to enter on. So, that's Riven. Yun, balik tayo dito. Afternoon heat map, no? So far, wala namang anything na alarming or nagka-catch ng attention ko na tipong up around 5%, 8%, and whatnot. So far, afternoon session, neutral. Neutral. Kumbaga parang namahinga muna yung market, naging cautious muna. No aggressive buying muna for now on the afternoon session. Eto, looking at our pre-market change, no? Our pre-market heat map. So this pre-market, no, pre-market session, Nvidia is up 2.62%. Riven also 3.12% up. With SMCI also up 3.17%. So actually, most of your high value traded names, tanggalin ayusin lang natin to, gawin natin tong times point of times 0.5. So ito yung mga high value traded names natin. So Nvidia, AMD, Apple, SMCI, Avgo today, I think earnings ng Avgo, ngayon or kanina, post market lang ni release. So let's look at Avgo. So Avgo is one of the heavyweights ng semicon sector natin. So na-release na yung earnings na actually. Na-release kaninang umaga, Philippine time. So looking at the EPS, sakto lang. Di naman tipong sobrang nakakawaw na EPS beat. Revenues is slightly flat. No? 11.96 billion reported with estimates of 11.8 billion. So halos wala masyadong growth na na-experience tong Avgo. So yun din naman yung reaction ng market. So flat earnings, flat reaction for Avgo. So wala namang intense gap down, walang intense gap up. So neutral for Avgo. So we shall see, no, end of day, if ano ba talaga yung gagawin ng market with Avgo. Yun, pero all in all, still, buhat pa din tayo ng Nvidia and SMCI. So, SMCI and Nvidia, binubuhat niya yung Nasdaq. Right now, no, in our semicon space, Marvel is down negative 5.75%. So, let's look at Marvel, no. Tignan natin if earnings din ba to. Earnings driven gap down. So, tama. Earnings ni Marvel kanina. Post-market ni release. Medyo disappointing yung EPS niya. And revenues is kind of flat. Kaya din ganyan yung reaction ng participants with Marvel. So, actually, big picture, no? Marvel has great potential, no? Parang big picture reaccumulation to. So, parang nag-create ng saucer base. So, this is a setup na we can look at maybe around Q2 or Q3, no, tong Marvel. So, right now, medyo mahina lang dahil dun sa earnings na. So, we shall see. So, that's our pre-market heat map. All in all, halos mixed. But so far, yung mga high-value traded names natin are doing good. Like Nvidia, SMCI. Di naman sila yung tipong nag-gap down or whatever. So, looking at our pre-market spread screener, no? So, looking at the advancers and decliners. So, this is our breadth screener. We're excluding micro caps. So, essentially, mga small caps and above lang siya. So, titignan natin kung gaano kadami yung advancers this pre-market session. So far, we are seeing 386 names na nag-advance this pre-market session with a quantity of ilang decliners meron tayo. So, we have 260 decliners this pre-market session. So, halos 3:2 yung ano natin, yung ratio natin. So, for every 3 advancers, you have 2 decliners. So, slightly positive, pero not really significant enough na tipong masasabi natin na super bullish yung pre-market session, no? Na tipong we will surely or high probability we will experience a bullish first half of this trading session. Double check natin tignan natin yung mga gainers natin for this pre-market session. So interesting yung mga 5% up, yung mga 4% below, halos wag na natin muna masyadong tignan. So far, gappers for this pre-market session, for this trading session, I mean, is IoT, Samsara. So, a mid-cap name na under the tech sector. So, interesting enough yung structure niyan. Tignan natin later. So, next, in terms of market cap, so Gap is under the retail, broadline retail, market group. So, a retail name, Gap. SoundHound AI, 7% up this pre-market session. So, one of the third liners in the AI space, tong SoundHound. So, interesting din yung market structure niyan. Next is one of sa mga interesting din is UBS. So, under the finance sector, 4.8% up. And Carvana up this pre-market session, around 4.44%. Yung iba, wag na natin masyadong tignan. So, SMCI, automatic yan. So far, TSM. So, speaking of TSM, so shout out to Rightham, no? So, popost natin tong video na to in the YouTube channel. So, nag-comment si Rightham, one of our followers in our YouTube channel. Feature daw muna or pa-feature daw yung TSM. So, actually, at an all-time high to, tong TSM natin. Yan. So, big base, actually, no? Big base. So, since 2021 tong base na yan, no? So, this is a big base breakout. So, the bigger the base, the higher in space, diba? So, that's the idea, no? Bigger accumulation, mas malaki yung pagkuha ng float ng mga institutions. So, the lighter the supply, no? Ang kalaban mo na lang dyan, kalaban na lang ng presyo dyan is yung mga profit takers. In which yung mga profit takers mo, right now, for TSM, will most likely be institutions na syempre, papakyatin muna nila yan, no? Maghahawak muna yan. And then, once na ma-reach na yung targets, maybe at around 200, yun, maybe that's the time they will sell at a profit. So, syempre, let's look at this trading structure or market structure for TSM. Let's look for the point of control. So, to assess kung nasaan ba karamihan o yung majority of shares for TSM. So far, it's around dito sa 90 US, and your value area high at 117. So let's get the midpoint, maybe at around 100, so round number. So we're assuming na most institutions or institutional buyers or yung mismong stock operator of TSM is currently up 50%, no? Right now, 50% up na siya. So magpa-profit take na ba sila? Pwede, since 50% up na sila. But, ang pinaka-benchmark natin is the 100% gain eh. Diba? The 100% gain. So, saan yun most likely? So, punta tayo sa 100. High probability sell area nila is at around 200. Which is the century mark round number din. So, hard targets or hard resistances natin, profit-taking areas for TSM is at around 200 na. No? So, pwede din natin gamitin tong fibs natin. So, in terms of fibs, 1618 target is at 250. And our 200% target is at around 350. So, high probability naman i-reach na to eh. Itong level na yan eh. TSM, under a strong market group, Semicon, sila yung main manufacturers. Hindi lang sila designer, but Sila yung nagma-manufacture ng mga tipong I think 5 nanometer na na chips, parang ganun. So right now, parang lumalabas na sila yung main hardware production or main chip production ng mga AI related semiconductors or chips. So I think yung Nvidia is wala naman silang manufacture or maliit lang yung manufacturing arm nila. Ang ginagawa lang ata nila is yung design, pinapadala nila with TSM, and then TSM manufactures it. So parang yun yung idea. Although I'm not yet super 100% sure, no. Hindi ko pa nagagawa yung research ko, but ankle deep level research, that's the idea, no. TSM is the manufacturer. So siya yung may pinakamalaking potential na if AI related chips will increase in demand, or the demand in AI related chips will increase, no, around 25% assumingly every year till 2030, till 2035. Malaki yung room for growth for TSM. So long term, TSM is a good company all in all. So this is also a setup na pwede nating antayin. Medyo naiwan lang tayo, no. Hindi natin nawala sa radar natin to, guys, tong TSM. So magandang MA20 pullback to na tipong channel or flag, continuation flag. Nawala lang sa radar natin kasi I think wala pa siya sa markup phase na big base breakout siya or big accumulation range breakout eh. Yung mga gusto natin is near all-time high na eh. Then we look for continuations. So what we can do for TSM is to look for continuations. That's the next step, no? If wala ka pa neto. If meron kang TSM, nabili mo at around 120, 130, next target mo is 200 eh. Your round number area. 'Di ba? Round number area. So century mark tong $200. So that's TSM. That's TSM. So next, so far, let's look at the top gainers, no? So isa-isahin natin to. IoT, I think nag-ano siya, earnings release kahapon or kanina. Yun, tama. So post-market lang ni-release. So IoT, also an IPO play, no? IPO play medyo sayang, hindi natin to nakuha dahil din sa sa earnings release risk, no? Oops, log out tayo. So what we can do, no? Next step for us for IoT is to wait for this gap, 'di ba? Earnings gapper siya, high probability earnings gapper. Pwede tayong magantay ng coil. So, ano siya? Post earnings drift. Pwede natin gawin for IoT. So, earnings gapper, coil, maybe around 5 days. Much better if 1 to 2 weeks. Then, you buy the breakout. So, that's IoT. So, looking at the financials, no? Tignan natin, drill down tayo. Bakit ba ganyan yung reaction ng market with IoT? So far, in terms of EPS, you have increasing EPS, no? So far, third in a row positive EPS. And relative to the previous quarter or previous year's Q4, no, negative 0.02 yung Q4 2022 EPS. Right now, nasa around 0.04 EPS na tayo. So that's a good improvement in terms of EPS, no? So next is revenue. Looking at the revenue, you have increasing revenue. So for the whole year of 2023, you have increasing revenues. So halos 10 million yung changes niya in terms of revenues. So may constant revenue growth ka for Samsara, for IoT. So that's a good thing. Looking at the business. So I think parang from the ticker itself, no, IoT, Internet of Things. Ano siya? Sensor related systems or sensor related products and plug and play. So IoT plus AI Pwedeng may potential. Pwedeng may potential, di ba? Itong IoT. So, technicals lang. Our next tradable setup is the PED. Post-earnings drift. So, that's IoT. DocuSign. So, yung DocuSign, another IPO name din nata to eh. Wait lang medyo mabagal yung ating trading view. Medyo sinisipan na tayo. Di pala. I think DocN pala yung nakikita ko na recently nag-IPO. So far with DocuSign, no? You have this accumulation structure and nag-breakout na siya recently eh. Nag-breakout na siya sa resistance trend line eh. Nag-retest, nag-rebreak, or nag-try mag-rebreak, then pumalya. Hinanap niya yung support niya at MA100. Then right now, gapping up, earnings gapper din siya. So good EPS report. 0.76 EPS beat siya essentially, no. For our revenues, let's look at the revenue growth. So parang nagsascan na rin tayo, no. So for the earnings, so sakto lang din. Slight increases in your revenues. So halos 20 million changes, 10 million changes yung increase ng revenues natin. So bottom line, you have increasing revenue growth. You have revenue growth na di naman super lupit pero significant na rin siya. Technicals lang. Papunta ka pa lang dun sa sa transition to markup phase. So nasa late stage accumulation na tayo for DocuSign. So pwede, if you're really bullish in this name for DocuSign, you wait for a PED, a post-earnings drift, then sell most likely at 75, 76. So ano lang siya, maybe a 1 to 2 week play for this name. So that's a possibility. Next is SoundHound. So one of the interesting names din na recently nag-IPO, itong SoundHound. So nag-IPO yan nung 2022. Tama ba? Yan. So nag-IPO siya 2022. Nagkaroon ng decline, nag-create ng accumulation structure. Then right now at an early stage markup yung SoundHound natin. So for the past few weeks, pasok to sa scan natin if ma-hold niya yung $5. So na-hold niya naman yung $5, although we did not buy yung pullback dito sa $5. Ang pwede natin gawin is to wait for a coil at $6 for SoundHound. So syempre, cautious tayo dyan. Di tayo yung tipong papasok na lang bigla-bigla. As long as this is a valid retest, yun, baka doon tayo pumasok. We can drill down to the lower time frame. So this is your next resistance area, your RTL. So once it breaks above the RTL, once your trend is aligned on the lower time frame, that's the only time na pwede tayong mag-enter, no? So playbooks, 'di ba? One of our playbooks for pullback plays, itong SoundHound. So antayin muna natin mag-breakout, we wait for a coil. In terms of our trend configuration, your MA20 is above MA50 and MA50 is above MA100. So you wait for that configuration to materialize on the 1 hour time frame. Then that's the only time you can enter on this name. So that's SoundHound. If aggressive ka, pwede naman. Bilhin mo na yan, 590, whatever, as long as it's above the 100 SMA sa 1 hour time frame, pwede. Widen mo yung stops mo at $5. Yun lang, liliit yung reward risk mo, 'di ba? So that's the repercussion. So if you wait for a tighter consolidation sa lower time frame, a tradable setup sa lower time frame with a possible tight stop, yun, mas maganda yung reward risk nun. since SoundHound is a high volatility name na you can take advantage of. Yun yung idea for SoundHound. So, one of the gainers din, Carvana. So, one of the recent earnings gapper natin tong Carvana, no? Excuse, medyo malamig na ngayon. Weird dito sa Bulacan Pag tanghali, super init. Super init. Pag pag gabi, super lamig naman. So yun, Carvana, pasok sa PED natin. Actually, materializing na yung PED natin. Gapping up 84, yung Carvana, no? So, if you're really bullish in Carvana, you can most probably enter dito sa breakout. Breakout na itong inside bar structure na yan. So, ito yung ito yung earnings gapper mo. After the gap, nagkaroon lang ng 3-day run-up or 3-day rally, then nag-coil. So, this is your tradable coil for Carvana. No? So, for me, medyo over-deployed na ako. Maybe I'll pass on this trade muna. Since ang focus ko is to manage my current open positions. So Carvana may potential for this trading session, no? So gapping up around 5 or 6%, 4.59 points tong Carvana. So far wala na, no? So Vimeo, SMCI, matik na yan, SMCI so far actually SMCI medyo tradable siya right now, no? Wait lang So daily time frame. So big picture, near all-time high actually. About to print a new all-time high. Etong SMCI. Nakakatawa, no? Etong big big sell-off na to, tong 20% sell-off na to. Parang lang naging joke lang Kala ko din blow off top na yan. Kala ko blow off top na yan. Di pa pala. So tignan natin. Interesting yung yung galaw nito. For me, di ko pa siya ma-trade, no? Sadly. Medyo cautious tayo dito sa mga gaps nito. If you're gonna day trade SMCI, pwede. Kasi may momentum may volume din no, tong SMCI. So pwede since pre-market gapping up siya You can wait for a retest dito sa 1150. Since nag-gap up siya, pwede mag-retest. So, tignan natin nasaan yung next point of control netong range na yan. So, high probability retest mo is at 1,144. So, if I'm gonna day trade this, a retracement entry will be the most optimal way or optimal entry on SMCI. So all-time high all-time high power no SMCI. At the same time short squeeze. Lakas na short squeezes dito sa name na to. Strong market group as well. One of the leaders in AI related services. So sila yung nagpo-put up ng mga servers parang ganun. So sa kanila nagfo-flow yung pera. Ngayon. Kaya rin nababaliw yung market with the SMCI. So madaming factors na rin bakit yan all-time high. Anyway, so far ito yung natin, top gainers natin for this trading session. For the pre-market session pala, no? Meron pa ba tayong nakakaligtaan? So EOD heatmap, market breadth monitor. So let's look at the previous days market breadth, no? So, under repair pa tong momentum play signal natin. Naglolo ko lang. So, may mga ni-reformulate lang ako dyan. But, what we can do is to look at the recent internals. Yung yesterday's trading session. So looking at the net advance declines yesterday, so versus March 6, medyo nagkaroon ka lang ng slight decrease with net advances and declines. So from 1206, net advance declines, you have 1188 net advance decline. But bottom line, it ended at a green, or it's at a green with a ratio of 3 to 1, 3 is to 1 advance decline ratio. So mas madami ka pa ding advancers versus decliners. Sa volume spike data naman natin, no, what we can see is you have more positive volume spikes versus negative volume spikes, no. Essentially, positive net volume spikes. So mas madaming names na nag-end at a green with a volume spike. So interpretation natin dyan, high volume activity plus ano sila, ended at a gain, may bullish momentum ka na nakikita or nagmamaterialize. So intraday momentum also at a green with a daily momentum ratio of 1.42. Mas madaming names na up more than 5% yesterday than down more than 5% yesterday. So looking at the 20-day new high, new low data, mas madami kang names na nagprint ng new 20-day highs, as well as etong 52-week high data natin. Mas madami kang names printing new 52-week highs. And basing it from the past 3 data from March 5 to March 7, may accelerating quantities ka, no? So essentially what this tells us is yun, may bullish momentum kang nakikita. Kumbaga, aggressive buying, no? Aggressive buying kasi you have volume spikes, you have a lot of names printing new 20-day highs and 52-week highs. Matik yun, yung interpretation na aggressive yung mga buyers natin right now. So sa mga secondary bread monitor natin, halos lahat is at a green. Net 50-day new high, new low data ended at a green with your net names above, below 20-day SMA at a positive. So mas madami kang names above 20-day SMA. And weekly performance ratio 1.10 ended at a green. So above 1 yung ratio natin. So mas madami kang names na up more than 10% this trading week. So all in all, since based on the information na nakita natin sa market internals natin, we can say that malakas talaga yung market, no, from a top-down perspective, even sa bottom-up perspective natin, sa market internals natin. So yun yung nakikita natin right now. So in terms of macro, no, our DXY is breaking below this 20-day structure, no. So you have this coil after this downtrend, this support trend line breakdown, nag-resist sa MA100. You have MA100 pointing downward, so that's good. That's bearish for the dollar, diba? So far, risk on signal siya for us. So a declining dollar is serving is bullish for equities. So that's the main idea, diba? For our US 10-year yields, also nice action, breaking below the 50-day SMA, no? Multiple red days na rin. So it's accelerating papunta dito sa 3.8 level. Most likely the bond market is pricing in earlier rate cuts. Parang yun yung nakikita natin right now. So a declining US 10-year yields is bullish for the market, for the US market, for equities. And even crypto. Even crypto. That's bullish for crypto as well. Bali kasi ang nagiging effect niyan is easing of financial conditions, no? That's the bottom line. That's the idea for your US 10-year yields. So next is USOIL, our inflation benchmark. So far, still coiling near resistance, no? Wala pang drop below 20-day SMA. So far, pwedeng mangyari dyan if US oil drops below the 20-day SMA, drops below $77. Yun yung isa yun sa mga magiging triggers ng disinflation talks ulit or disinflation chatter. Kasi syempre, once US oil drops, high probability that inflation also drops. And pwede rin, one of the factors why US oil is gonna drop, no? Since madaming economies na at a recession. So, bumababa yung aggregate demand mo. Lower demand for consumption of oil will result in a decrease in price for oil. So, snowball effect yung mangyayari. Kaya din siguro bullish yung market, no? Na-reject yung $80 for the second time around. And right now, about to break below the 20-day SMA for US oil. So that's our inflation benchmark, the US oil. So far, yun lang muna no, for our macro benchmark. So far, tapos na yung 2-day testimony ni J. Pao. All in all, parang halos slightly dovish yung 2-day testimony niya. Bale, sinabi niya lang na careful rate cuts. Careful rate cuts. Kasi kulang pa daw sa data. Parang paulit-ulit na lang eh. Paulit-ulit na lang na gano'n na kulang pa daw sa data. Pero by the looks of it, what the market is pricing in, parang high probability ng mag-cut sila maybe around July. Yun na yung pinaprice in the market recently. Pwede nating tignan sa FedWatch tool actually. FedWatch tool. Tignan natin. CME. Tignan natin yung table. Tignan natin yung dot plot. Ito na lang. So far, ganun pa din. So, tignan natin yung mga yung mga probabilities. O kaya itong natin, current. So, tignan natin yung July. So, high probability they will ease on July. So, parang mangyayari around 500 basis points, 5%, no? By around July. September, also high probability is on September. Tignan natin June. So, June, 77% is, no, pwedeng mag-cut sila ng rate. 70% yung chance on June. Tignan natin yung May. So, May, medyo low probability pa. No change. So, sila? Parang pause. Pause muna by around May. Pero, bottom line, ang pinaka maganda dyan, high probability pa din tong June natin. Since dahil din, most likely sa mga dovish data na nare-release recently. Dropping PMIs, dropping services PMIs, dropping manufacturing PMIs as well. You have your core PCE na in line with expectations pa din. Wala namang tipong sharp spike in core PCE. So far, sa akin, madaming dovish data na na-release yung US, no? So right now, today, one of the risk events today is yung unemployment and NFP, no? Let's go to trading economics. Ano daw? US economy likely So, jolts yan. Kala ko, na-release na eh. So, unemployment rate today, to be released 9:30. Maganda sana, makapagbabad pa tayo 9:30 pero pagod na rin ako eh. Kanina pa ako nasa work, no? So, non-farm payroll today as well, no? So, consensus is 200K, lower than the previous NFP. And halos parehas lang with the previous itong unemployment rate. Pero pag mag-increase yung unemployment rate by around 0.1%, by 0.2%, baka medyo medyo dovish data yon na pwedeng mag-trigger sa Fed na mag-cut na rates earlier, maybe around May. So we shall see. Pero looking at the futures, no? Yung ES natin, nag-gap up. Pero parang na-fade na rin, no? Parang yung kanina, nakikita ko na-fade na siya. So, gapping up or nag-gap up na siya. Di ko alam if tama ba tong data ko. Parang delayed data ata itong meron ako eh. Yun, data is delayed. So, hindi ko kinukuha kasi yung futures. Hindi ako nag-futures eh. Ikaw ba, Borgie? Nag-futures ka, di ba? Tama.
Hindi naman futures, pero more of itong SN tapos yung ibang commodities.
Okay. So, legit naman na ano to, yung price action niya, no? So, parang bullish talaga yung market, no? With the NFP data and tong unemployment. Baka, yun na nga, medyo dovish data. So, we shall see. So far, that's our risk event for today. No? So far in earnings, let's look at our dashboard ulit. May significant earnings ba today? So, isa lang naman, AQN, no? So, nothing much. Di ko lang alam if nagkaroon ng issues with our API. So, we can look at dito sa sa sigmatrader.net. So, pag ganyan kasi, dito ko na tinitingnan yan eh. So, tingnan natin yung Friday. So, this week. Tama ba? So, Oracle. Today ba to? Wala. Ano pa to? 11 pa to. So, this week. So, let's look at. So far, wala na. No? Wala nang significant enough na earnings. So, wala ka namang risk event sa earnings natin. So far, ito lang. NFP and unemployment rate. So, ayun. Parang sa akin medyo dapat cautious pa din kasi pre-market, no? Pre-market. Teka, ba't nawala yung mouse ko? Yan. Bumalik na. Tignan natin yung pre-market ng SPY, no? SPY. So, halos parang flat lang din. Flat. Hindi ko alam bakit ganun yung ginagawa ng futures, no? Yung ganong gap. So far, pre-market, Qs and SPY is slightly below or opening below the previous market close. No? So, yun yung isa sa mga dapat din maging cautious tayo. Pero bandang 9:30, once na ma-release yan, baka magkaroon tayo ng strong pre-market movement, no? Pre-market session movement sa SPY natin and Qs. So, doon natin malalaman if talagang celebrate mode yung market or baka mag-de-risk or something. Tignan natin. So, isa sa mga hindi na lang natin nakikita right now or nadidiscuss is our Fed liquidity benchmark. So far, for our Fed liquidity benchmark, flatlining siya. But actually, for the first half of this trading week, parang umabot yan ng 6.4 trillion 6.47. So there is slight improvement in our liquidity benchmark. Buhat na rin siguro dahil sa decline of our reverse repo facility. So actually, first half of the trading week, nandito yan sa 478. Upticking. So yung reverse repo facility natin, if money is draining sa RRP natin, that's a net liquidity injection, no? So that's good for the financial market. So itong bank term funding program natin is gonna be abolished this March 11. Matatanggal na yan. Yung lifeline ng mga regional banks. So far with our TGA, so about to break below the 20-week SMA tong TGA. So about to do a spending spree yung natin, yung US government natin. Di ko lang alam kailan yung campaign period, no? Pero baka isa yun sa mga factors, no? Since election year, presidential election year, yung 2024. So right now, daming pera sa natin, sa TGA accounts. So once money is being drained sa TGA natin, sa WT region, that's gonna be good for the market, for the financial market. Since it will create an easing of financial conditions. Since syempre yung pera na isi-spend ng government, saan mapupunta? Syempre sa mga bangko ng mga private contractors. Pwedeng contractor ng mga buildings, pwedeng contractor ng mga roads, whatever, military. So essentially, mas madaming pera na dadaloy sa merkado. So that's the idea. So our liquidity benchmark is our leading signal, no, for a bull market and a market rally, no. So kaya natin siya tinatrack. So that's our Fed liquidity benchmark. Looking at our global liquidity benchmark, medyo may positive action tayo, no. May positive action tayo with our global liquidity benchmark. So it includes the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, and the People's Bank of China. So yung consolidated assets, liquidity injections of China and etong European Central Bank. So right now, looking at the current structure, no, you have a downtrend line breakout, so that's bullish. Although your global liquidity is still below the 100-week SMA, no? But above na ulit siya ng 50-week SMA. 50-week SMA. So that's good. And you have an uptrending 20-week SMA, and it is about to cross the 50-week SMA. So that's good. That's a good configuration in your moving averages, no? Although lagging, pero that's a good development. So far, our multi-week structure, so since December 2023, around 12 weeks, 12 weeks ago. So 12-week structure, no. So nag-support siya sa 25 trillion, then right now accelerating beyond 25 trillion. Although hindi na natin masyadong i-discuss sa nanggaling yung liquidity injections, but most likely dahil din sa other economies na under quantitative easing, or di naman quantitative easing, pero ano sila, they're doing liquidity injections as well. They're printing money, pwede rin they're lowering rates, resulting to an increase in liquidity in their system. So all in all, Fed liquidity, global liquidity, all in the green. You have this as your tailwinds in equities, in risk assets, no. So far that's it, no. Actually, yun nga, yung DAX at an all-time high. You have your UKX at an all-time high or near all-time high. So Nikkei also doing an all-time high. So lahat ng markets except China actually yung malakas. So far China, parang hinanapan nila yung footing nila, no? Hinanapan nila yung footing nila. So far, that's our global benchmarks or macro benchmarks, and even Fed liquidity and other liquidity benchmarks. So far, serving as tailwind in our financial markets, etong nakikita natin. So far, eto, So stocks on watch, sige, let's look for trade opportunities. So net is under the category of pullbacks. So I think na nakita nyo na to, net. So net is on an early stage markup phase. So this is your accumulation base. Nag-breakout, nag-create ng base, nag-earnings gap, nag-pullback sa 20-day SMA, and right now having this very nice coil near 20-day SMA. So this is your tradable setup, no, for net. So let's put up etong alert. So actually, you can already enter on 100. That's your support level. So that's your run number area. Stops mo pwede at around 95.20. Targets, if you're a momentum trader, you just want, gusto mo lang i-ride out yung 3 to 5 day momentum, pwedeng benta ka na at 115. Pero next area of resistance or next resistance area is at 120, 123. Actually, much better if we look at the volume profile. So actually, ang next resistance level is at 109. Actually, nag-resist na siya sa 109, so 110. Nung nag-gap, madami kang break-even, madami kang break-even sellers na pumasok. So, yung mga naipit mo dito sa 115 level, 112 level, way back 2022, they, yung mga taong yun, most probably, sold at break-even. So, they served as resistance to the price, no, to go upwards. So, may mga break-even sellers ka. Kaya din nag-pullback yung net. Then, right now, maybe found its footing sa 20-day SMA. So, once it tests or re-breaks 112, next target mo is at high probability at this level, 128. So, tapos na. Nakain niya na yung mga naipit dito. Next, nakakainin niya na mga naipit or sasaluhin niyang ipit etong 130. So, next break-even sellers mo or surge of break-even sellers will most probably dito sa 130. So, let's look at the targets. So, actually, pasok din siya sa measured target ata, no? So, yan na natin. I-measure natin. Yun, pasok din sa 1618. Pasok din sa 1618 target natin sa accumulation trading range, no, for net. So, this is a high probability resistance area, itong 130. So, if you're gonna trade net, since it's a pullback setup, swing play lang siya, maybe you're gonna hold this for around 1 to 2 weeks, etong net. So, let's say, drilling down to the lower time frame. Let's say, gusto mo na siyang bilhin at 100. Pwede mong tighten stops mo at 95, 95, 70. Automatic namang invalidated na yung idea no? If ma-hit yung area na yan. So, if sell on resistance ka lang, dito sa 120, 116, pala, no? 116, you have a 4:1 reward risk. So, if ibebenta mo naman at 130, you have a 6:1 reward risk. So, if you risk 1% of your capital, you have a 4% reward, no? If magmaterialize yung play na yun. So, that's net. Next is NXT. So, yung NXT actually, discuss ko na yan, no? Pullback sa 20-day SMA. You have this post-earnings drift setup. It's a name na at an all-time high. Recently, nag-IPO din. High potential since it's on... Actually, hindi naman pala Semiconductor, no? Ano siya? Solar name. Solar-related name. But more of ano siya? Teka. Blah, blah, blah. So, more of ano siya? Components. Components for solar. Itong NXT. We don't know actually yung business model niya, no? Pero in terms of financials, I think you have increasing earnings or increasing EPS pala, increasing EPS and revenues. So you have increasing EPS for the whole year, for the whole year. And in terms of revenues, you have improving revenues, no? So Q1 2023, 500 around 480 million in revenues. 580, 570 in revenues on Q2. Kumbaga, you have accelerating revenues. Malaki yung sales growth niya, no? Quarter on quarter. So, interesting enough yung name na yan. Fundamentals and technicals, no? So, AFRM. AFRM yung next. So, general preparation na to for everyone, no? Sa mga underexposed pa or underdeployed. So, since we're on a risk-on mood, if you're under-deployed, ito yung mga setups na pwede mong tignan, 'di ba? So, kumbaga, ito na rin yung ano natin, setup hunting, setup hunting session, no? Since I'm in the mood. Pero actually, all goods na ako. Meron na akong AMD, Uber, NXT, LAN, Hood. Although under-deployed ako ng mga around 10% dito sa portfolio na yan. Over-deployed naman ako dito sa isa. So, yan. Over-deployed naman ako. Medyo may error lang ako sa TRV. Medyo oversized ako. So, later on, i-fix ko yan. But all in all, I have CAVA, I have AMD, I have NXT, TRV, and Uber. So, CAVA, yung bumubuhat dito right now. So, maybe I'll rebalance. I'll rebalance sooner or later. Maybe in this market session. Pucha, kala ko 36 yung ano niya. Yung pre-market. Yung CAVA. Gulat naman ako doon. Ito yung nakakaba kay TradingView eh. Paminsan eh, pag delayed, no? Pucha, kala ko nagga-gap down $36. Pucha naman tong CAVA na to. Si TradingView nagpapakaba. Yun, anyway, $62 yung ano niya. Pre-market open niya. This pre-market session. So, all in all, it's also an IPO play. Ito yung favorites natin right now. Mga dating nag-IPO, nag-build ng base. Then, right now, printing new all-time highs. Yan yung mga favorites natin right now. Kahit hindi all-time highs, but transitioning to a markup phase. So, that's our favorite place right now. So, that's CAVA. So, NXT, kita nyo na yung setup na yan. So far, another stock on watch tong CAVA. So far, right now, CAVA, wala na siyang setup. No? Tapos na yung ano niya eh. Tapos na yung coil niya eh. Dito sa all-time high area eh. So, ito yung pinasukan ko eh. Ito yung pinasukan ko. NXT, a KCBB Eclipse actually. So, medyo silipin lang natin. So, it's a KCBB Eclipse setup, itong NXT. Yan, i-clean up natin. Yan, clean up. So, that's NXT. Next is yung SOUN, na-discuss na rin natin. Uber, medyo hindi lang napapyawan natin kanina, but also a name that is near all-time high. Itong Uber, no? And matagal nag-base, matagal nag-accumulate. So, halos 5 taon, 2019. Since 2019, Uber was on a sideways structure or sideways trend. And right now, it's on a strong uptrend, tong Uber natin. So, let's look at the moving average configuration. Medyo mabagal lang. Sorry, guys. Saan ba ako nakakonect? Baka sa ano. Yan. So, about to kiss MA20. Itong Uber natin. So, you have this coil about to re-break this structure. So, sa akin, I was betting na itong bull trap na yan, di ba, tinry niya mag-breakout dito. Tinry niya mag-breakout dyan. Zoom in natin. Zoom in. So, failed attempt of an all-time high breakout. So, that's essentially an intraday bull trap. So, next day, I was watching Uber, no? So, sa akin, kunwari, hindi niya ma-hold yung 50%, pass na ako with Uber. Pero na-hold niya eh. Yung next day was quite crucial eh. Titignan ko if tong selling day will do a follow-through. So, on the next day, I bought Uber. So, medyo binigyan ko na lang din ng breathing room. So, stops ko is at around 77, 76. And yun, still holding and about to still on phase 2 in the trade cycle, no? I'm still watching my stops with Uber since hindi pa naman siya gumagalaw. Time stops for Uber. Tignan natin yung KCBB structure, yung Keltner channel structure. So, sa akin, maybe if hindi siya mag-materialize for 3 days, baka ibenta ko na tong Uber. Maybe around Wednesday, if hindi pa siya gumagalaw, hindi pa mag-breakout dito sa 82, 82 level, then scratch muna tong Uber. So, next is tong PCOR. Yung AFRM, di ko pa pala na-discuss, no? Sorry. So, AFRM. So, AFRM Holdings is pulling back to the 100-day SMA, no? So, AFRM is actually on a late stage accumulation. So you have this accumulation structure. Ito yung current resistance area mo. Nag-breakout na siya sa downtrend line. Strong uptrend. Nag-pullback. Retesting 100-day SMA as support area. So ang sa akin lang, I want to see a resurgence of buying, no, for a firm na dapat mag-breakout siya sa $40 muna. Saka ko siya papasukan. Di ko bibilin tong 100-day SMA touch. That's kinda risky for me. Pwede kasing mag-break below that and then accelerate pababa, no? So, yun yung idea, no, for a firm. So, it's a buy on pullback setup. So, also an IPO play. So, IPO accumulation transition play. So, itong a firm. One of our favorite setups as discussed. So, FTV, ang dami pa. So, isa-isa nyo na lang guys, no? Nandyan naman yung yung mismong idea, yung main idea, pullback, phases, momentum continuation. So, to conclude everything, no, overall, we are seeing optimism in the markets. Yung daily market summary natin kaninang umaga, we already saw optimism, no, in the markets based on yesterday's trading session. This pre-market session, we're also seeing some optimism, no, actually. So, tignan ulit natin yung heat map natin. So, pre-market change, refresh ko lang baka kasi hindi na naman nag-load Paminsan naglolo ko yan. So, all in all, our pre-market, medyo balik natin sa 0.5x. So, medyo mixed, no? Pero, itong natin, highlight, itong high value traded names natin like Nvidia, SMCI, are at a green, no? Yan. So far, yan. Okay. So far, all goods, no? All goods naman for our pre-market session. So, medyo mixed. Syempre, may upcoming NFP report and unemployment report. So, syempre, muna yan? Cautious muna. So far, itong mga nag-earnings release, you wait for a PED. So, that's the time you only, yun lang yung time na pwede kang, pumasok na siguro. Huwag mong sabayan muna yung earnings. May risk event din kasi today. Pwedeng ma-fade. Pwedeng madamay sa fade if ever mag-fade. So, ingat lang for everyone. So, if you're yun. So, NFP, slightly higher. Yun, itong unemployment rate yung nag-cause ng optimism sa market ata, no? Higher than expected. So, higher unemployment, tapos stable PCE data. So, siya, pwedeng mag-rate cut na. Tataas yung probability for rate cuts. Yun yung bottom line. Higher unemployment rate, 3.9%. Yun, so good luck sa atin lahat, no? So far, pre-market, I'm around $380 up. Ginagrind natin yan.
Congrats.
Thank you guys. Thank you for making time. See you next week ulit, Monday. Maybe I'll do a recorded version na lang of our debrief, no? Hindi muna tayo magla-live muna or whatever. Medyo may mga tayo, commitments this weekend, no, for family. Sa kanila naman yung time natin this weekend. Yun. So, happy weekend everyone. Good luck this trading day. This Friday. Ingat kayo. God bless.